Well, hey again, I've got some new exercises for you that I think you'll find really enjoyable, easy to do, and fun because you can do them right at home and you don't need any equipment for them. Last time I mentioned a bit about your core and 12 principles of a proper sit-up. I'd like to go into that a little more detail, but there's quite a bit of material there, so I think I'll save that for a separate video. But I am going to go over at least one exercise that covers some specifics towards that. And that's where we'll begin. So I'm going to put you right down here. Now, the idea behind working your core muscles in a sit-up, as you'll recall before, I mentioned that a lot of a sit-up just works your hip flexors, and that's why it's not a very good exercise for your core. I covered a few other variations like bell swings, which are really good for your core and back. This is another way to get extra pull on those muscles and isolating them by taking the hip flexors or your quadriceps out of the equation. What I'm going to do is use the edge of my bed right here. Now, if you have a yoga ball, that's usually what's used to utilize this kind of exercise. What I'm going to do is lean back here. I'm on the edge of my bed or near the edge, and with my legs here at a right angle to the ground, I've increased the lever on my abdominal. So as I lean back and start to go into a crunch, I'm putting more pressure on this part of my body, so I can get a much more effective workout. If I add a few little barbells to my arms in this position, I can make it even more difficult. But essentially what I'm doing here by having my legs at a right angle instead of up as they would be if I was on the ground is I've increased the lever here, and this makes for a much more effective exercise. If you extend your arms a bit, this of course is just the same as if you had a few barbells in your arms, but maybe a little bit easier. So that's a first one to start with. It's a really good exercise for your core. Now let's try something else. Triceps is another really good area to work on. I covered some exercises for that last time as well. I've got another one for you. This is one I like to give my fencing students. I'm going to angle you down here. Again, it's about isolating the muscle itself. So I'm going to lay down here on the ground, and I'm going to grab a shoulder, and the other hand goes flat, and I'm going to push up from here. You can see right away this really works just that tricep muscle, engaging that, and it's like doing a push-up. And then you do that on both sides. If you want to make this more challenging, all you need to do is simply move your arm a little bit lower, and then you get more of a lever again for that muscle group. So let's try something else. Another good one for the triceps and some of the stabilization muscles here in your shoulder and the rest of your arm would be to do something with this. This is just a classic standard textbook. This happens to be on organizational leadership, but any standard textbook will work as long as it's got a hard cover. What I'm going to do is take you out in the hallway for a second, and I'm going to use the length of that to demonstrate this. So follow me. All right, you can see down the length here. Now I'm going to take my socks off and put my feet up on the textbook. I'm going to raise myself up in a plank and walk forward, pushing myself down the hallway on that. Now,
It may look a bit silly, but it's actually quite challenging. And it really, again, works those tricep muscles. Now, you do this forward and backwards to get the full effect of the exercise. It has an added benefit of, again, because we're in a plank, off the ground, we're working our core again. So here we go. Furniture movers also work really good and just as well as a textbook, but the textbook actually has a more weight to it, which might contribute to an added benefit for the exercise. Let's take on a different exercise now. Last time I covered some different aspects of a push-up. You recall we have a wide push-up, and when taken close in, keeping my elbows close to my rib cage. I think that's ultimately one of the best ones. But taking your hands in a diamond shape and placing them on the floor is also a fairly good exercise, and it's very challenging for most people. Because I'm bringing my arms in close, I'm going to work more the inside of my chest muscles. You want to make sure that your hands are low. So I've got my hands pretty much close to, well, if I go down, these are right next to my solar plexus. So lower rib cage. And the lower you go, the harder it is, and the more of your triceps you're also getting. And if you take the second one, that's the one keeping your arms close to your rib cage, and elevate your feet. So now I'm up on my bed, and keeping the arms, again, low. So I got my hands way back here close to my hips. Very good exercise, and a really good challenge. So that's it for today. Give those a try, tell me what you think, and keep healthy. See ya.